If you're unfamiliar, SmackDown has been data mined in Pokemon Go. All we know about it right now is that it's a rock-type fast move. We don't know the damage and we don't know the energy gains. So up ahead is a clip from my live stream SwagTips where I decided to take a look at all the different types of fast move composition it could be using Tyranitar and Rhydon as palettes and then comparing them to other rock-type Pokemon to see how much power creep we could be dealing with here. So yeah, here it is. So the Tyranitar like family line, a lot of Pokemon actually don't learn SmackDown like naturally through leveling up, but a lot of Pokemon gain access through it through TM23. I'm just gonna say it's that in the main series games. And Pokemon Go uses TMable moves for move pools in the Pokemon in the game, so it stands to reason that Tyranitar will probably get it. If it's a thing. It stands to reason that Tyranitar will probably get it. I really don't know what they're going to do. Wishful thinking. In our hearts and souls, we want Tyranitar to get it. It would make us happy because it's Tyranitar. It's the strongest guy. He's got to be the strongest at rock stuff too. He's already the Dark King. You know what? Golem and like Legacy Omastar, they've been having it too nice for too long. Right, and Tyranitar, he's there, he's creeping, and he's got to creep on them and kick their butts. So, SmackDown's been data mined, people, you know, they found the name, and that it is a fast move, but we don't know any of the parameters on it. We don't know the damage, we don't know the time, we don't know the energy gains, so I have to like make some guesstimations here, and fast moves are complicated. I mean, charge moves are complicated. Predictive content, when it comes to the moves, when it comes to the Pokemon, we know what their stats are going to look like, we know what their type is, and we have a good idea of what their move pool is going to look like, right? But when it comes to making up attacks, it's complicated, because something that sounds small and insignificant ends up being huge, right? Yeah, making predictive attacks, complicated. So I made 4 different flavors of SmackDown for us to look at, basically based off of different kind of flavors of fast move that we experience in the game. So I put in Rock Throw as a base, just in case it's like a Rock Throw parallel, or just to, you know, show Rock Throw as like a base of comparison, like how the other ones would look compared to it. And then I made SD upgrade, which means SmackDown upgrade, which suggests that it's just a straight upgrade from Rock Throw. I think I based it, yeah, I based it off of Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail is like one of those Omni attacks that's just like, it's one of those better than everything else kind of fast moves. So it's like, it's got good energy gains, it's got good damage, right? So if SmackDown ends up being like that, then it'll be better than Rock Throw. But then again, this attack is meant to be an upgraded Rock Throw here. So I mean, it stands to reason that it would be an upgraded Rock Throw. Now, how big of an upgrade is that? It just looks like 0.2 comprehensive DPS, a little bit of TDO, which overall, very circumstantial. Same with DPS too. So it depends on where everything the chips fall in practice, but in this vacuum kind of scenario, it's a bit better. If it's this upgraded kind of rock move, right, it'll be so good that it's basically on par, if not ever so slightly better than Bite Stone Edge and Bite Crunch, I guess, the Double Dark, in a purely neutral matchup. Which suggests that if you're like up against a Lugia, going Double Dark, right, might not be nearly as good as going Rock Dark. But that's, you know, provided once again that it is a upgraded kind of superior fast move like Dragon Tail. And then down here I have other kind of scenarios for SmackDown to look like. So I got SmackDown fast EPS. So this is using Psycho Cut as a base. So it's like, you know, the fast move, like you're tapping really quick. The DPS isn't quite as good as other fast moves are, but the EPS is really high. And that appears to be the second best case scenario from what I'm looking at here. Then I've got SmackDown with slow EPS. So this is using like Charge Beam as a base. So that slow attack doesn't really have great DPS at all, but it's got great EPS, good energy per second, right? So there's like a silver lining. So I decided to put that into comparison. And then I put in the VS. So I just put that in for Volt Switch. It's based off of Volt Switch. And this is considering a scenario where SmackDown, the worst case scenario, kind of, where it's just like a really high base power attack. Its DPS isn't all that impressive. Its EPS isn't all that impressive. It's more better for gym defense, whoever cares about that, but it could happen. That could be something that could happen to SmackDown. We don't know what SmackDown's going to look like. Well, let's look at this against other rock types. I don't have a SmackDown Rampardos, so this is a Gen 4 Pokemon that I covered in my little Gen 4 predictive content. Yeah, Rampardos, so I didn't give him a SmackDown, but Bioweapon, in his flavor of this, custom Pokemon save to the user, right? But he ran a SmackDown Rampardos, and it's DPS, it's comprehensive DPS, apparently beats out Rayquaza even. If it gets double stab with double rock, with rock being such a pervasive type, like, dude, Rampardos is gonna be exciting. I hope Niantic doesn't ruin Rampardos. That'd be upsetting, especially now that we've got SmackDown on the line. All right, so okay, this is all getting in the way here. All these other attacks. So how do I sort by fast move again? Man, all the little Pokeballs kind of make it hard to tell between Rhydon and Tyranitar. So yeah, once again, the SmackDown upgraded, and then the Rock Throw are better. But interesting thing here, right? The SmackDown fast DPS, so like the Psycho Cut looking SmackDown, puts Tyranitar at a higher DPS than our traditionally good rock throwing Pokemon, you know, Omastar and Golem. So we got higher DPS going there, and higher TDO for Tyranitar with that. So if we have the pure upgrade scenario or a rock throw parallel, that'd be fine. And then having the fast DPS, that'd be really great too. Going down here, the slow EPS, if SmackDown is a slow EPS move, so if it's like a charge beam type attack, well then it kind of puts Tyranitar on equal footing with Golem and the legacy Omastar. Where Tyranitar will lose out with SmackDown is that if SmackDown is just the bad attacking move, you know, if it's like a Volt Switch kind of parallel, then it will have lower DPS, maybe higher TDO than Golem. So that's the situation for Tyranitar and the SmackDown, which means things are looking pretty good for Tyranitar and SmackDown. If Tyranitar gets SmackDown, overall, its performance will have to fall between this range here, which is the best case scenario and the reasonable worst case scenario. Tyranitar has more chances to win here than it does to lose, so that's good. Now as far as Rhydon goes, if it gets the upgraded SmackDown, or if it gets a rock throw kind of parallel, then that puts it slightly above Omastar and Golem 2, which is really nice for Rhydon. Finally gets its chance in the sun. If it's the fast EPS move, right? So the fast EPS SmackDown, that was fine for Tyranitar, but for Rhydon, it puts it on par with the other ones. But once again, might have higher TDO than them. Depends on the matchup. Like having stuff that power creeps, having straight upgrades, that's always nice because you're like, yes, I got something better to power up, something better to use. But then there's also a lot to be said for variety. So it's like, man, I only have one really good Golem, and I've got like 3 really good Rhydons, or I guess if it's a community day move, I've got some good Rhyhorns on deck, right? And I want to use them because I like Rhydon better than Golem, right? Then you got that nice little situation. You know, maybe Rhydon will be the one to appear on future best counter memes, right? Right? Now, yeah, I guess one thing that people might want to be like seeing, might be really interested in, is the full scheme of rock type Pokemon that could upgrade with SmackDown. And there's a lot of rock type Pokemon that can learn it. I think like basically all of them. Some big ones that stand out are the Kabutops line, right? They're kind of shafted without, you know, a good fast move, and the Aerodactyl line. So if they get SmackDown, that would be an upgrade for them as far as being a rock type goes. But what that actually translates into really depends on what the fast move looks like. And as you can already tell here, this is busy as all get out with the 4 or 5, yeah, basically 5 different flavors of SmackDown that I've presented here. So I'm not willing to really go much further with this until we either get like a community day announcement and it's like this rock type Pokemon is gonna be our next community day Pokemon, you know, then it's like, okay, that's probably who's gonna get SmackDown. Or until we actually get like hard numbers on SmackDown, where we know what the damage is, you know, the EPS, the DPS, and then knowing what the true SmackDown looks like, then I can run a whole bunch of fantasy simulations on what they look like with all the different flavors of rock type Pokemon without having it be exhaustive. Good to look forward to. I think if there's one big takeaway from this, that is that Tyranitar is in the best position to power creep on Golem. Rhydon kind of power creeps on Golem if it's the upgrade or the rock throw parallel, but only Tyranitar can truly power creep on Golem. And that suggests that other rock-type Pokemon, if they get SmackDown, double rock moveset, that they'd probably be on par with Golem. And then just have that conversation kind of scenario, like the variety pick rather than the pure upgrade. And then if there's a variety pick, then that means that they'll have circumstantial advantages over each other. And I think that makes for a way more dynamic game than what we currently have, where it's very clear cut what's good in what scenario, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm fine with either scenario, to be honest. That was a clip from my live stream SwagTips. SwagTips streams every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Twitch channel SwagTips. Except not this Thursday. I got 2 papers due on Friday, and that's how the news goes. If you have any questions about this content or would like me to cover some other kind of topic in Pokemon Go, then comment below and let me know what you want to see. And if you haven't subscribed to the Swag Man already, then please hit that subscribe button. It validates me.